Hello to all my college football fanatics out there. Welcome to another sports edition of the Buckeye Vinny YouTube channel sports show. Sit back, relax, and my friends, let's talk about the Sugar Bowl that took place Thursday night in New Orleans and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish defeating the Georgia Bulldogs in a very convincing way of 23-10 to move on to the semifinals. Now, Notre Dame will be taking on James Franklin and the Penn State Nittany Lions. But my friends, before I go on, I just want to say that congratulations to all the Notre Dame Fighting Irish fans out there. It was a great win for the program. And for everybody that knows me, that obviously watches my YouTube videos and commented, I picked, humbly, I was wrong, but I picked Georgia to win this game. And, you know, my gosh, looking back, Notre Dame brought it, hands down. I'm sure everybody would agree, even dog fans out there, that Notre Dame was the better team Thursday night in the Sugar Bowl. Notre Dame was the better coach team in the Sugar Bowl. Bottom line, I was very impressed with Coach Marcus Freeman, and let's be honest, Coach Freeman outcoached Kirby Smart. And that rarely happens to a Georgia and Coach Kirby Smart team, but bottom line, I was very impressed the way Marcus Freeman had his team ready to play. And it showed. Once again, winning against Georgia 23-10. Very impressive. You know, my friends, normally when you look at stats, you would think that the team that had the more total offense in yardage would be the team that won the game. Not the case. Georgia outgained Notre Dame. Georgia 296 to Notre Dame's 244. But my friends, bottom line, Notre Dame made the plays and did not make many mistakes compared to Georgia's numerous mistakes. Now, what was very interesting for me was that Notre Dame found themselves behind early, only 3-0. Notre Dame came back. It was actually a battle of field goals in the first quarter. Notre Dame came back with back-to-back field goals, and I got to tell you, that Notre Dame kicker impressed me. He was booting them from 47, 48 yards easily. So, right before half, Notre Dame kicks the field goal, and they lead now 6-3. Once again, I mentioned, right before half. So there's about 30 seconds left to go. Notre Dame kicks off, and Georgia now has the ball, I want to say, right around the 25-yard line. And instead of Coach Mike Bobo, and I'm sorry, but this really turned the game around. Instead of maybe Mike Bobo maybe running, either take a knee, go into the locker room, and you're only down 6-3. Not the case. So here, they call a running play, and it was Gunnar Stockton. Gunnar Stockton fumbles the football, and Notre Dame, the way they played all night, was very aggressive and physical. They jumped on it. And now Notre Dame has the ball at the 10-yard line of Georgia. One play later, touchdown pass, Riley Leonard, and all of a sudden what was only 6-3 is now 13-3. My friends, I'm just going to say this. For everybody that watched the game, that was the turning point for me. All the momentum swung to Notre Dame's side. And like I said, you could go into half only down by 3. Okay, at that point, it's anybody's game. But now, when Notre Dame scored, because of that fumble recovery, and Notre Dame scored just a play later, and now it's 13-3 at intermission, for me, that turned the whole game around. And then, let's not forget, Notre Dame receives the kickoff in the second half, and their kickoff returner returns it to the house for another touchdown. So before you can blink your eyes, Notre Dame is already up on Georgia 20-3. Just like that. So bottom line, my friends, I really question the play calling all night of offensive coordinator Mike Bobo. I really did. Let's run down some stats. Gunnar Stockton, 20 out of 32, 234 yards passing, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, but he did have that crucial fumble, my friends. And I just got to say this. My hat's off to the defensive coordinator of Notre Dame, Coach Golden. He talk about coming up with a scripted defensive game plan to stymie the Georgia Bulldogs running attack. Defensive coordinator for Notre Dame did just that. Check these stats out. Trevor Etienne, their featured back, 11 carries, only 38 yards. True freshman, their standout, Nate Frazier, he's been playing very good football all year. Only 4 carries, 37 yards. And check this out. Gunnar Stockton, going into this game, high reviews about Gunnar as a dual-threat quarterback. High reviews about this young man as a better running quarterback than Carson Beck. Stockton, 9 carries, minus 16 yards. Notre Dame stymied Georgia, and Georgia was only able to mount 62 net rushing yards the entire night. My friends, for me, that did it right there. It truly did. You know, I thought that for the most part, Notre Dame's secondary bent a little bit, but they did not break. Okay, I thought Notre Dame's secondary did a good job on Dylan Bell, Dominic Lovett. Let's not forget their linebacker, Kaiser for Notre Dame, played a whale of a football game. Xavier, their splendid safety corner, played a very good football game. And, when you stop and look at it, Notre Dame went into half 13-3. Second half, Notre Dame outscored the Georgia Bulldogs 10-7. And, I did call that this was going to be a very low-scoring affair, and it was. But, my friends, bottom line, I give all the credit to Notre Dame and the coaching staff. The offensive line, always known for Notre Dame, big, strong, very smart offensive line. They controlled this game. They gave Riley Leonard very much needed passing protection. And check these stats out. So Riley Leonard led all carriers in rushing with 14 carries for 80 yards. My friends, this is the quarterback. And he led in the entire game in rushing yards on both sides. And wide receiver Faison played a good game. 4 grabs for 46 yards. So, my friends, bottom line, when I broke this game down, Notre Dame just came out. They controlled the line of scrimmage on not just offensively, but defensively. They did a great job. Their D-line held up. And you got to remember, Georgia has one of the biggest offensive lines in the country. But for me, the smaller, quicker, agile D-line ended up winning the game in the trenches. So, once again, my friends, my hat's off to Notre Dame, beating the Georgia Bulldogs 23-10 in the Sugar Bowl. The all-time series is now Georgia 3 wins, Notre Dame 1 win. And once again, talk about Notre Dame just dialing up the plays when they needed it. And a lot of mental errors for the Georgia Bulldogs. I've never seen a team very unbalanced the whole game. They just couldn't get nothing going on offense. And that was thanks to the splendid job of the defensive coordinator, Coach Golden, scripting a phenomenal game plan to stop Georgia. And you know, they just constantly had the Dogs backpedaling the whole game. You know, just when you thought Georgia was mounting a slight comeback or a drive, you know, a penalty would always stop them, whether it be illegal procedure on Georgia or a holding penalty on Georgia, pass interference. You know, bottom line, you know, they just they did not look scripted like they normally do. They played, you know, bottom line, they just didn't show a lot of emotion in this game. It just did not seem like a Coach Kirby smart Georgia Bulldog football team, to be very honest. You know, I just think that at one point they knew that, I'm not saying they quit, but some of the mental errors were very bad. You know, I mean, I'll never forget, it's 4th down and 1. Notre Dame had the ball on their own 20. Marcus Freeman decides to look as if he was going to go for it. And what happened was they ended up playing a mind game with Georgia, and Georgia jumped off sides. Automatic first down for Notre Dame. And obviously at that point, Notre Dame continued to run the ball, eat up a lot of clock. And at that point, Notre Dame went on to win the game very soundly, 23-10. You know, it was just a game that, once again, you know, would it have been any different if Carson Beck would have played? Okay, now looking at it, you know, it's irrelevant now because Notre Dame went on to soundly win this game. And, you know, but when you see a team just not look focused, you know, like I said, you know, and another game that Georgia started off extremely slow. You know, another game that they could only manage only 3 points in the first half. You know, they started off slow to open up the season against Clemson. Obviously, they went on to pound Clemson, but they started off very slow. They started off very slow against the Kentucky Wildcats in the first half. They went on to win that game. They started off extremely slow against Alabama and got beat. Started off slow against Ole Miss and also got beat. So, you know, my friends, after a while, it can catch up to you. And it surely did. It just did not look like the same Georgia Bulldogs team that I've seen in the past. And, you know, my hat's off to Gunner. You know, this young man first start as a Georgia Bulldog at quarterback. And it showed from time to time. You know, yeah, he was 20 out of 32. He threw for 234 yards. But, my friends, some of those passes were not good. You know, he skipped them. He short hopped them. He overthrew them. And that was because of the good pressure that Notre Dame was getting on him. So, bottom line, my friends, Notre Dame now moves on to the semifinals. They will be taking on the Penn State Nittany Lions and Coach James Franklin. Once again, congratulations to the Fighting Irish defeating the Georgia Bulldogs 23-10 in the Sugar Bowl. My friends, if you haven't already, please click on the subscribe button. It's free to do so. Please click on the like button, and like always, check out Super Thanks. Not only do I love to read your comments, but I love to get back to every single comment that I do read, so please comment down below. And like always, peace out. God bless. Everybody, stay safe, keep the faith, and that's all Buckeye Vinny has for today. I am out of here.